Hello and welcome back to Wwenoc Respect and to Night of Champions 2025 out of 10. WWE returned to Rhea for the Night of Champions Premium Line event, headlined by John Cena facing CM Punk in the final chapter of their epic rivalry. We also saw the final of the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, as well as a few other matches, but we're going to start things off with the final of the King of the Ring, Cody Rhodes taking on Randy Orton. A grueling match saw both men frustrated by their inability to keep the other down with even more devastating finishes. After the frustration built, Orton reverted to being the Viper of old, teasing his trademark pump but thinking better of it. Later he teased using a steel chair but simply utilised it as a distraction, drawing the ref's attention away from exposing the steel turnbuckle. Rhodes showed great awareness and avoided the buckle, sent Orton into it, delivering the crossroad for the win. The Viper seethed, clearly dismayed at losing the opportunity to win the title, but it does feel like maybe an epic heel turn could be incoming. This was merely the first chapter of a long-term storyline that will likely dominate the second half of the year and provide a very intriguing story. The strong match that started slow and built was also decent, but will go a long way in establishing Orton. So yeah, good stuff. Moving on then to Riyadh Boulevard street fight between Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley. It was his first ever Boulevard street fight. Ripley and Rodriguez have strong chemistry with each other, and it was on display here, delivering a hard-fought, hard-hitting match that saw them endure considerable pain and punishment, including jarring kendo sticks to the ribs of Ripley and a styled belt whipping for Rodriguez. Roxanne Perez interfered at one point, urging to further get in the good graces of Rodriguez and the Judgment Day, but felt the wrath of Ripley. Rev, the prodigy out of the way, Murmy finished Rodriguez off with the table-assisted riptide from the top rope. As good as this battle was, hopefully Ripley can move on from here and focus on the Women's Championship, because at this point there wasn't really any need for interactions with the Judgment Day. So I'll give it a 6 out of 10. We then got Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross after months of backstage interactions and vignettes. After months of taunting Zayn and attempting to turn to the dark side and do what was necessary, the match finally kicked off, and it was Kross taking that cost him one of the biggest wins of his career. Despite dominating Zayn for the better part of the match, he talked trash. At one point he backed the former Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion into the corner and sprayed him across the ring, only for Zayn to meet him there with a Helluva Kick. If the goal was to continue the story with Zayn attempting to prove Kross that he was wrong, only for the heel to ramp up the pursuit of the inflammable hero of the dark side, it worked. Otherwise it felt kind of counterproductive to get to this point, but here's hoping and intention is option 1. But for this line I'm going to give it 5 out of 10. Before we got Jacob Fatu against Solo Sikoa for the US title, and Sikoa pulled out all the stops in Saturday and defeated Fatu to win the US champion in the first singles title of his career. It started with the arrival of Mateo and continued with the return of Tonga Loa before culminating in the debut of the monstrous Hikuleo. The 7-foot-tall member of the Bloodline obliterated Fatu with a chokeslam onto the announcer's table. The Samoan Werewolf up for Sikoa to defeat. The match itself features solid physicality, but not much in the way in chemistry between Fatu and Sikoa. The late match hints from the heels as the memorable debut of Hikuleo should make for an interesting next chapter of the rivalry. Of interest, the commentary team noted that whilst Sikoa celebrated, Fatu was left alone. Does the Unstoppable Force recruit break up, and who? That kind of bears watching moving forward. But intriguing. For this lane I'm going to give it 5 out of 10. Didn't really feel much for it, to be honest, but I thought it was alright, and I'm intrigued to see where we go with the Bloodline moving forward. But for this lane I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Then got Oscar versus Jade Cargill in the final of the Queen of the Ring, and it was Jade Cargill who will win, challenging Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Championship at SummerSlam after surviving the Queen of the Ring final. The competitor overcame an injured knee, a game Empress of Tomorrow, in a crowd that was not nearly behind her as they were her opponents, to deliver Jade and scored the biggest win of her career. The match wasn't pretty as the chemistry kind of wasn't there. They've never really wrestled before. More times than not they appear to be a step off, of Cargill appearing to struggle with the pace Oscar set. Despite the kind of mid-match, it was great to see Cargill get the win. Naomi was hanging over with the briefcase as well, kind of added an intriguing narrative. But for the match quality alone, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. But I think, I'm still hopeful if we could get a decent match between Cargill and Stratton at the Pape. Moving on into the undisputed WWE Championship match, CM Punk against John Cena, two of the most iconic superstars of the last 20 years, with countless classics between them, squared off one last time with the undisputed championship on the line. What started the battle With two greats who know incredibly well, had the fans hanging on every move, descended into chaos with the arrival of Seth Rollins and his goons. Penta and Sami Zayn arrived to counter them. Cena showed flashes of the upstanding, virtuous leader he once was, and Rollins clocked Punk with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Cena capitalised, throwing a quick pinfall on Punk and costing Rollins a chance to cash in on his title opportunity. It was a clever finish that allowed Punk to save face, the visionary latest plan to stand atop of WWE, and ensured Cena is from facing Cody at Money in the Bank. So yeah, it worked really well for me. Gets 7 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed the card. It's probably the best way to go with Cena matches right now, and it's great to see these two legends kind of face off in the ring together again. So yeah, 7 out of 10 from me. Overall, Night of Champions gets a 6 out of 10 from me. I thought, yeah, it was a pretty decent show. WWE's trips to Uridia are usually inconsequential, but the Queen of the Ring kind of stipulations really added to it. There's a bit of funny business with Rollins and stuff like that, but I think it added to the main event. So yeah, on the whole, I thought it was decent. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.